As soon as I learned about my dad's story, it broke the pain. I think interesting about coaching, I've met people who love coaching, and then I've met other people, particularly at high levels of leadership that I've met. And I was one of these where when I first I worked for a Canadian company around as part of an $8 billion market cap insurance company. And they offered me a coach as part of my integration into my team, and I didn't want it. And I remember my coach started working with me, and this is a true story. We were in a boardroom one day, and she just started trying to break me and giving me feedback. And she said, you're so successful, guy, but you kind of grandstand. It's a bit about you. And then she said something about my dad, and I welled up. I teared up, and I broke. And I said, stop, because she was raising her voice and being very direct. And I said, stop. I said, you sound like my father. And this was like, I was 31 years old. And she stopped, but she realized there's something deep there, which was about the way my dad and I, our relationship. He was addicted, but I took physical and mental abuse most of my life through him when he was with me. And what was interesting, I just want to share this so you have the context. Before he died, I had coffee with him a few months before he passed unexpectedly of a heart attack. And I hadn't seen him most of my life. And I think God I'm faith-based, said, somehow I heard this feeling that I have to go see Dad because he wanted me back in his life. And I hated him. As from a point of view of most don't understand. The one thing I did at that coffee, 45 minutes, Garnet, is I said to my dad, tell me about grandfather. And then I learned about his father's story. And my dad's dad was a chronic drunk. And what I learned through my doctorate research in the last year was my ancestry comes from slavery, that the Indians were sent from India through to the plantations in different countries through an indentured labor program that was covered up in the history books. And my great-grandfather was one of those, and they were treated like coolies. They were treated very bad. So my great-grandfather survived, and obviously his dad was my dad. So as soon as I learned about my dad's story, it broke the pain. It was like, now I understand the generational trauma and how that can feed through. And I've done a lot of work on myself to try to be a kinder, better person towards my own daughter.